Yo, watch as Caitlin Collins tries to catch up Secretary of State Marco Rubio again, try to force words into his mouth in the situation. It didn't happen. This was about a 40-minute interview, but I took about 5 minutes out of it, points that I thought was very interesting. It was interesting because she started off by making note of how Lindsey Graham, the Elmer Fudd stunt double, how he said that President Zelensky, Ukraine president, should resign or that they should send somebody that we can do business with. But after that, Caitlyn just tries to catch up Marco Rubio, asking him stuff like, isn't it true that JD Vance and Trumpito want Putin to destroy Zelensky? And Marco Rubio's like, no, you little strong man-faced woman. They do not want that. Quit trying to put words like that in my mouth. My name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I need 100,000 subscribers. Let's get right to it.
Lindsey Graham, after having lunch with President Trump today, said Zelensky either needs to resign or they need to send someone over that we can do business with. Do you feel that President Zelensky needs to resign?
Well, that's Lindsey's feeling because he feels very passionately. You know, he's been a very strong supporter of Ukraine. Lindsey Graham has been one of the strongest voices for Ukraine. Well, the United States, the president's taken no position on that. What he said today is let him come back when he's ready to do peace. That's what he said. Let him come back when he's ready to do peace. So I can't speak for what anybody else said. I can only go off the words from the president of the United States, and that is today this is not going to be productive any further. When Zelensky's ready to make peace and he's serious about peace, let him come back then. And that's when we'll
when he's ready to come back and kiss that ring, when he's ready to come back and kiss the ring, then maybe we can start discussing some peace treaty stuff. It's called diplomacy, which means the activity or skill of managing international regulations and the art of dealing with people in a sensitive manner. So it's obvious that Zelensky does not have any diplomacy, or if he does, he would know better than to risk all these people's lives coming out trying to clash with JD and Vance. That's why he got jumped in the Oval Office.
Engage with them. And what he means by that is when
he understands. And how will you measure that?
Well, I think it's everything I've said already, and that is, how are you going to get Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation to a table to discuss even the opportunity, even to explore whether there's an opportunity for peace? You're not going to do it by calling them names. It makes everybody feel very good. You can pass resolutions. You can put out very strongly worded statements. Senators can do it. I did when I was in the Senate. House members can do it. Commentators can do it. And countries that have no real skin in the game can do it. But when you are the president of the United States of America and you're trying to bring about peace the way Donald Trump is trying to bring about peace, the only way to do it is you have to create space for people to come to the table and talk. And that is something we should all be applauding, not criticizing. And not pretending that we can just extend this war forever until and that everybody has unlimited resources to continue to fund it on both sides, by the way.
And President Zelensky has said he does want this war to end. He just cares about how it ends. We heard that from the other European leaders who came to the Oval Office also this week. President Trump said to me today, before that shouting match erupted in the Oval Office, that he doesn't believe there have to be security guarantees in place before the ceasefire, that you can come to.
Yo, before I get to that, if I was Zelensky and I had an entire country depending on my interactions with the strongest country in the world, I would have came over here and kissed the ring the first time. And I'm like I said, I'm a super proud person. I'm very proud. But when it's that much at stake, there's no place for being proud. There's no place for pride. You know what I'm saying? When it's that much on the table, you come down here, you don't try to make demands when everybody, your whole entire country depending on you, Zelensky, and you blew it,
A ceasefire agreement and then put those in place. Do you agree with that?
That's not what he said. What he said is, why am I going to be talking about security guarantees? Let me get a peace deal first, is what he said. That doesn't mean they can't happen as part of that negotiation, but you have to have an agreement. What peace is there to secure if you first don't have an agreement on peace? Like, what do the Russians need in order to end this conflict? What
so you're saying it would happen as part of the negotiation?
Hold on. Yeah, this what I want to point in this video, how she tried to throw words in her mouth. So off top, she said that Trump told her earlier that he doesn't believe that security measures have to be put in place before him and Zelensky pin a deal. And Rubio was like, no, that is not what he said at all. You know what I'm saying? Then another one, look, check it out.
Well, again, How do you end a war? You have to find out what the combatants require in order to stop shooting at each other. What are the Russians' needs? What do they need to see in order for them to stop fighting? What do the Ukrainians need in order to stop fighting? And then once you have that in place, then you can decide the next step, which is, and what do we need to do to make sure this never happens again? That it doesn't happen in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I don't think President Trump is interested in a one-year ceasefire. I don't think he's interested in a 6-month ceasefire. He wants this thing to end. He has said that repeatedly. But again, he's not going to use the kind of language that maybe plays well in the public sphere or in the political sphere for people that want to take shots at him, but it's not going to allow us to have a negotiation or even to explore a potential negotiation. President Donald Trump is a man who's made deals his entire life in the business, and he's bringing those principles to government, and he's the only one in the world that has any chance. If Donald Trump tomorrow decides, I don't care about Ukraine, I don't care about Russia, and I don't care about this war, and he walks away, I ask you, I ask everyone, well, who on this planet has any chance whatsoever, even a 1% chance of getting the combatants to the table? The answer is there is no one. He is the only one on earth right now that has any chance. If there is a chance at peace, he's the only one that has a chance to deliver on it.
Do you still see a meeting happening with President Putin there, President Zelensky, and President Trump? Is that still possible?
Well, I think that's premature. I mean, what would they? You first need to make sure that this is even a possibility, and you have to explore it. And look, there's good signs, I think, maybe, somewhat about at least the Russians' willingness to engage. And but we have to explore all that. But that's not going to be done in front of cameras. It's not going to be done in an open ballroom. There's a lot of work to be done before we get to this point. This is a complex war that has causes behind it that go back a number of years. There's a lot to navigate. A lot has been invested on both sides. Gains have been made by the Russian Federation in some places. All of these things have to be worked through, but it's not going to be done through press conferences and in the media. It has to be done through what the vice president said today, the serious work of diplomacy. It's,
Diplomacy. You know what I'm saying? The art of handling international affairs and the art of dealing with people. But it's like you said, how can we even entertain having a sit down when Zelensky, you're not even in the mindset to be diplomatic. You taking your personal affairs, and then I swear to God, like Caitlin Collins is so crazy. She doesn't hear his response several times. She's still asking about the securities. We can't get past this. We can't even entertain the security part because we might not even go into war with this guy no more. Because he's not respectful. They say without having the securities, there'll be negotiations. We have to figure out what even each side wants. So if you can't open up an open line of communication, which Trumpito is the only person who can do it, you know what I'm saying, then it might not even happen.
It's a lot easier to just say, well, we're with Ukraine all the way, no matter what, however long it takes. Well, 15 years, 12 years? I mean, that's absurd. That's not sustainable, and everybody knows it. The president wants to end this war. He wants to explore whether there's a possibility to do it and do it quickly. He campaigned on it. It was a promise of his, and he intends to when he says these things, he doesn't just say them, he means them, and he's doing it. And it's the first time we've seen that in a long time in American politics.
Secretary Marco Rubio.
Yo, the truth is this. When it comes to wars and the loss of thousands of lives and innocent children being harmed, the money is never, important. The bottom line is just like J.D. Vance, just like Secretary of State Marco Rubio said, just like Trumpito repeated to Zelensky over and over again, how do we make this war end? You know what I'm saying? But if Putin just comes to Zelensky and he's like, look, we just want your capital city of Ukraine and all these other territories that we've already occupied, then Ukraine might have to compromise. But the way that Zelensky was in the Oval Office talking about he will not make any deals with the killer, you know what I'm saying? And talking all this to this and that, it made it instantly apparent to both JD and Trumpito that Zelensky does not understand diplomacy. Yo, tell me what you think in the comments. My name is Marcus Russell. This is the Marcus Russell Show. Until next time, peace.